You stupid bitch. Yeah, you're a stupid bitch. You stupid bitch.
Okay, so hello, good evening,
Good evening, good afternoon, good evening, and good night.
welcome, welcome to our world.
A world of stupid bitches.
Say what? A podcast about everything and nothing, but always with cha-ching, a little bit of vino,
And shenanigans. Cheers, you
shenanigans.
stupid
Just,
bitch.
oh, you're drinking a little cheeky white,
I am. Because I have,
light white.
yes, and it's the one I bought from the bottle after we did the groceries on Monday night.
It's a breakfast wine, if you will.
I said to Vinny, I'm buying a bottle of cold wine. I need a drink. So I've been having now my new life as an EA allows me to have one glass of vino a night.
Well, I did say to my boss today that I'd be having a heavy, strong red this evening.
Nice. Love that for you.
Yeah,
I
and
do
it
have
is heavy.
I do have two bottles of red in the wine rack. Usually it's just one that becomes none very quickly. So
Mm.
that'll be good.
Isn't it funny how the tables have turned? Because you're normally red, 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 and I'm white with a little bit of red. And now you're
Yes.
mostly white and
I've been
I'm
doing all the
almost
whites
always red. And it's summertime. Normally I don't snap over to red until the winter.
till it gets a bit cooler.
Yeah, but I've just been smashing the red, mate.
Actually, I do miss the red, so I'll have a red for the next one. What's the haps?
Mm.
Should try and, because, dear listeners, we've been talking about our schedules in the lead up. We are
Very
flying by
busy.
the seat of our pants when it comes to recording and releasing episodes at the moment. We've had a few cancellations, so our backlog is now empty. Um, so we should chuck in a Friday night, maybe do a double somewhere when we can, just to get trashed.
We're in a peak performance period, if you will.
Peak performance.
We've gotten through January. February is now behind us. It was just
February,
a
yeah.
blink and you'll miss it kind of situation. And
January drags balls, and then February's like, haha, 28 days, bye, bitch.
now we're full steam into the year, and
Yes.
it's one obligation after another. So
But
apologies, listeners. Let's
dear
make it about
listeners,
you, not about
yes.
us.
What do you want to hear from us? Do you want to hear how my week has been? I mean, do you want to hear what I've been drinking?
Oh,
Well,
yes, please. What are you drinking, you stupid bitch?
as I
Oh,
said,
also, this podcast is hosted by Sean
oh,
Bino Hipkins.
and Skye Lee Collett,
There you go.
hostess with the mostess.
Rolled off the tongue.
Now, I am drinking, and this is quite nice actually. It was because I'm a high flying EA now, it was a $25 bottle marked down from 30, and it's a Tasmanian wine called Devil's Corner.
Oh, I've had that. Is
Savvy
it?
B.
It's a Savvy B. Yes, I've had
It's a
that one.
ship.
Lovely. How nice for you.
And yeah, it's delish. This is one I bought on Monday because I need wine and I'm
Needed
drinking
to
it.
wet your whistle.
I need to wet my whistle. And what dear and what pray tell are you drinking, you stupid biatch?
Well, I had excuse me while I clear
Mm.
my throat. I had slim pickings at the
Oh,
Liquorland, I must say. So I stood there for a while going, oh God, I wanted to do something different, you know?
nice.
We have a podcast for a few weeks because of
What
our
2 weeks?
busy
Yeah.
schedules. So I'm drinking, maybe I have actually. It's semi-familiar, but not really. It's a scent hallet. I think it is
Mm.
Barossa. Established in 1944.
Jesus.
Faith. Cab
Oh.
Sav. It's 2022, which is nice.
Oh, nice. Mine's a
So,
23, by the way. So
oh, I bet
still
you.
a toddler, but yours is walking.
Yeah, that's it. It is indeed.
Mine
Definitely
started
walking,
crawling.
unless it's delayed. And maybe still crawling and holding onto
It's
things to pull
hobbling.
itself up.
Yeah. But it's getting there, and that's the point.
That is the point. And look, it's okay. It's definitely full bodied.
Oh, good. What is it? What type of red is it again?
A cabbie sav. I
Oh,
mean,
nice.
yeah, cabbie sav.
Yeah, my fave. I
Not a
did
savvy
look
bee, a
for
cabbie sav.
I did look for the Mud House when I went
Mm,
on Monday, but I couldn't
mm.
find it. And then I saw Devil's Corner.
It's only in
Tasmanian
some
do a great
places.
wine, so I
They
went for
do.
it.
They do indeed, yes. So stupid bitch, how has your week been? Enlighten us and tell us all the things that's going on with your
The week has been good, thank you for asking. I think I
I
may
have
have mentioned it to you. It's part of the script.
to.
I think I may have mentioned this to you before. If I have, I don't think it was on the
Say a lot of
podcast.
things.
But so Imagine Dragons, you love Imagine Dragons, right? I love Imagine Dragons as well. And the
I
other
do feel
night,
like we talked about this the other week on the podcast for sure.
well, I don't know if we, because I spoke how we put the concert on instead of putting on um Vinny's Bluetoothing to his, were you letting out a little ripper or?
I had a little sniffle and
Ah, okay.
I'm trying not to, sniffle. The wine
Before.
always gets it. I'm sitting under the aircon. I'm drinking the red. It's making my nose run a little bit, and I'm trying not to on air.
And so we put on a YouTube concert instead while we were sat on the balcony having burger
Lovely.
and wine night. And so we didn't have to worry about fighting what the next song was. It wasn't connected
Mm.
to Vinny's phone, the Bluetooth, so it wasn't cutting in and out when a message came through. And we put on Imagine Dragons. And the concert we found, and I may be late to the party, was 2023 live at the Sphere, so in Las Vegas.
Sure.
Now I've got the playlist. I thoroughly enjoyed it. I've got the playlist now on my Apple Music. The album is fucking incredible. It's like a greatest hits sort of album, but it's of them live. And there's a few songs in it as well. And I can't wait to play one for you when we next do our YouTube playoff,
Mm,
maybe Friday night recording. That's another song called Follow You. And fuck me, I love it. So yeah, I'm obsessed with it. I recommend if you're not on board and you haven't heard it already, you like to listen to um, new things and explore with your musical tastes on your Spotify.
I
Live at
do.
the Sphere, Imagine Dragons. Give it a whirl. Driving into work next time you go in.
Look, it's going to be difficult because I still haven't really had a proper spin through the Eurovision playlist, and that's
Mm.
priority one because I need to
Well,
know
look,
all the
we
songs.
still have a lot of songs that haven't come out yet for the playlist on Eurovision.
Yeah, but I haven't even been round the playlist once. I've listened to the
Fair enough.
Australian one and also one that came directly after it, which is Kant,
Yeah, oh,
but
no,
not
that's been out for a
pronounced
while, that
like
one.
that.
Tonight I'm serving cunt. I love that song. I
I
love
put it
Party
on
in
for
the
Tyler. I was
Sky.
like, "You're gonna love this," and it took ages to get to that verse. And
Yeah.
then when it came on, he went, I was like, "Is
What
this gonna be your favorite this year, baby?"
is that? Maybe. Do you like the Aussie one? I really like it.
I didn't hate it. I feel
Yeah,
like it's definitely a grower. It's going to grow on me. I feel like it's giving absolute Eurovision
a
vibes.
1000%.
Haven't our friend did post in our chat the video, the film clip of it, and
Yeah,
I haven't had the chance to watch it yet. So I will, this weekend be really focused on trying to
yes.
get up to date
Well,
at least a little bit.
do you remember a couple of years ago, we had time and we used to have nights where we just watch the Eurovision videos in the lead up. We had many nights together doing it. Now it's like, when can we even try and squeeze that shit in?
I know what's happening to us. You're
Mm,
supposed to like slow down as you get older, but
I
that's not
know.
even the case. Sorry, I'm gonna have to that's not even the case for us. We're just getting
No.
busier and busier.
And the week and every year. Now I'm just booking in free weekends. I'm not going to be as crazy as I was last year. Gone.
I know, but that's what I've actually been turning people down, and people are like really getting cranky with me. They're like, "Why? Why can't you do this thing with me?" And I'm
What
like,
did I do?
"So busy, guys.
I need some time.
I like
But
my weekends where I don't have anything to do and I can just stay in
yeah,
my jammies and be a complete sloth. Makes me happy."
the other thing that I wanted to touch on was a Buffy update of my rewatch. So I lied when I said had already watched season one last year or something, and I went straight to season two. I realized I actually hadn't. I'd only watched two episodes of season one. I thought I was watching season two until I got to season two,
Mm,
and it told me you're on season two.
mm.
So it got so
Wow,
much
you
better.
fucked up royally there, didn't
Did
you?
I not? I mean, how did the
Mm.
world turn?
I was
But
disgusted when you messaged me that. I was like, how dare you lie to me?
fucking bold-faced lies. But I have to say,
Bullshit.
That's is bullshit. I the season got quite a lot
Oh,
better
I've
as
missed you. I have to say, I've missed you. I feel like we haven't really spoken in ages because we haven't done a few podcasts and we haven't
podcasts.
seen
We've
each
had
other.
cancellations, everything. The season got a lot better as it went on.
And you miss me
Through season
too.
one. Oh yes, I've missed you as well. I was waiting till you said, "How's your week been?" and you did something witty, and I'd be like, "Do you know what? I've missed you." Um, I have missed you, stupid bitch.
Mwah.
That's why we spoke for half an hour before we even started recording. We're on a strict schedule. Um, so yeah, the season got so much better in season one. About season two now, I have to say, Buffy is actually a pretty good actor. I thought she was quite
Ooh,
good.
that's a reach. I'm gonna say.
I even
I think it's a
Googled
reach.
during season two, I was like, did Buffy, as in the series, ever win any awards? Because I thought it's quite good. I mean, the special effects, not so much.
You talking about Buffy as the character Buffy, or you're talking in
Yeah.
general? Oh yeah, no. I recently rewatched Cruel Intentions, and that movie is bad. I'm
Yeah.
sorry.
Okay, she's probably a better Buffy than Cruel Intentions chick. But Xander is also fucking hilarious
Yes, I
in
do
it.
love Xander. I love them all.
Um, and I've just watched the episode in season two where Drusilla and Spike come into it.
Mm,
And fuck, I love Drusilla, man. The way that she fucking talks and shit like,
yeah,
I'm hungry.
yeah.
She just cracks me up how stupid she is with her little dolls, and she turns the doll around for being naughty. You don't get any blood tonight. Spike's funny, he's cool. But I just saw the episode where they killed the anointed, you know, that
Oh
child
yeah, yeah. The
that's just
child.
in it.
Yeah,
And I have
yeah.
no idea what the child's purpose even is. He's this anointed thing, but he just sits there, and I don't know if he's like a man child where he looks
I
like a
can't
child, but
remember.
he
I
just
think it
sits
was a
there.
vessel, wasn't he? Wasn't he a vessel of the main one or something?
It just didn't even really make sense because even when the master dies at the end of season one, he's still in it for 3 episodes or so, and he never moves. He doesn't use his legs. He just sits down, and then Spike just picks him up, chucks him into a cage, and pulls him into the sunlight and dies. I think even Joss
That's
Whedon's
right.
like,
Yeah,
"We got to kill
I'm
this off.
done.
This isn't going anywhere." But I also love how like they'll be talking in the library and they'll be asking a question, and then all of a sudden Angel just appears by walking out behind the bookcase and
Yeah,
answers that question. It's like, where the fuck did you come from?
yeah.
Or even if they're out in a dump, like in the back alley, and he just appears from behind a dumpster.
Mm.
Oh, that's because of yada yada.
I had the biggest crush on him, like so bad. I was so obsessed with him.
He's aged quite well in the sense that he looks very similar
Oh, he
back then
has
as he
aged
does now.
incredibly well, and also he was in Bones, and Bones went for like
Oh,
seven or
not the
eight.
Smith, what the
The
Institute play?
Smithsonian.
No, it's not the Smithsonian. That's a real one.
Oh yeah. What is it? God, oh my God, he used to give me so much shit about it because I was rewatching it when we
You're
first did
always
our
going on.
podcast.
It's just like in Bones when they had the Jeffersonian Institute.
Jeffersonian,
Yeah.
that's what it was.
And I'm like, is that a real thing? You're like, yeah, I'm pretty sure it is. I'm like, we
No, it
Googled
was
it. It
loosely
wasn't.
based on the
The
Smithsonian.
Smithsonian. Jeffersonian Institute specifically says. Anyway, that's my week. Lots of TV watching. Oh, and quickly, I did watch season two of Bad Sisters. Vinny and I watched it on
Was
Apple.
it good?
Loved it. Loved it.
Ah,
Vinny
okay.
even
Oh,
liked it more than the first season.
well, we've had a few come back. So we've had 1923 come back, and we've had Reacher come back. So we're back into watching those at the moment, and then also trying to squeeze in Survivor. Do you want to quickly
Yes.
talk about Survivor before I talk
We'll
about
do
my
that.
week?
We'll do that in WhatsApps. I'll do a little update. I can use
Oh,
that as a
perfect. Okay,
yeah.
yeah, yeah, let's do that. Um, anything more you'd like to add?
That is all. The only thing I would like to know now is how has your week been, you stupid bitch?
All about
And
mine.
God, I've missed you.
Oh, thanks. Yeah, look, my week's been good. There's two things that I want to talk about. Was three, but we're going to put Survivor on the back burner.
Nice.
So I've sort of started the journey on the whole audiobooks. Really didn't think that
Yes.
I was going to get into it as much as I have. And I even, faked my address to use your address, just to get a subscription to a different library where I don't live.
So you
So
get your audiobooks from the library.
yeah, yeah, you can. And
Oh.
so
What do
my
you listen
library,
to it to? What
it's
do you
it's an
listen to
app
them
called
through?
Libby.
Oh. And you get
So
that at the library?
Yes. So basically what you do is you just download it and then you use your library card reference number to add to the Libby, and then
Oh,
it just taps you in. So look, my library, I think your library would be way more impressive because it's Brisbane, so it's a much bigger region, much more
yeah.
money. But even mine has quite a lot of options. But the one thing I've listened to quite a few audiobooks last year and this year, and some of them get super hooked in. Some of them are good, but and then some I turn on, I'm like 5 seconds, ick, yeah, gross. I'm not listening to that.
Yeah.
But it's good for some of the book talk ones. So the ones that have super hype around them. You're not sure if you're going to get into, but you kind of feel like you have to
Yeah. You
listen
got to
to
give it
them
a go.
because everyone's talking about them. So I have listened to one just this week. I had it's called Butcher and Blackbird, and I was going to
Mm.
message you, but I thought, you know what, I'm going to wait for the podcast to talk about it. I was going to message you and say immediately go and get a library subscription and get this app because it's called Butcher and Blackbird, and it's about two serial killers who fall in love, and they're Dexter type serial killers, right? So they
Mhm.
kill for pleasure, but they kill the bad guys. And then
Okay.
it has so it's told in so the first audiobooks I listened to was one narrator, and then it's normally a girl and she does a guy voice as well, and they do it quite well. It sounds like they might not, but they actually do, and they do different voices, and they're very talented, these people who do it.
Yeah.
But the last two books that I've listened to are more cinematic, so they put sounds in and they have different actors to act the parts and stuff like that, which the first one I listened to, which is not the one I'm talking about now, was pretty full on, and it took me a while to get used to it, and then once
Yeah.
I did, it was good. But this one is just a guy and a girl because it's like a bit of a love story as well, these two serial killers, right? But the guy's Irish,
Oh,
so
okay.
it's an American story, but the guy has this full Irish accent, and it's literally like that's how hot he sounds.
Oh, really?
Um, but it's full brutal. So the trigger warning at the beginning of the book, it says it lists like all the horrible things that happen in the book, and it's full on, and it's like if you are,
Triggered by.
easily triggered or offended by all these things, and they both rattle it off, like one says one and then the other. So it's the guy saying one and the girl, and they're running through all the things that happen in the book. And I listened to the trigger warning. I was like, fucking hell. Jesus, there's some shit going on in this book. And I was literally hooked from the first 2 minutes. I was like,
Okay, cool.
I am obsessed. So I know how much you're trying to get back into reading. And I was thinking this is the perfect way. So if you ask any reader out there, they say that audiobooks are still considered, well, it's not reading physically, but you know what I mean? It's still
Yeah, yeah,
considered
yeah.
experiencing a book. So I'll message you the details, but it's Butcher and Blackbird by an author called Bryn Weaver, and I'm that obsessed that I'm literally going to go and listen to every single thing that she
Oh,
has now
wow.
because
Cool.
it is so well written.
Has she got many books out?
There's I'm listening to the first one in a series of three, and then the
Okay,
next
cool.
two are not continuations of the first one, they're different characters,
Yeah. Okay, cool.
like in the same universe, but it's
Yeah,
different point of views.
cool.
And the first two are supposed to be excellent. And then the third one, it's the jury's out. Like some people like it, some people don't.
It always gets hard when you're trying to continue and match the energy. Same with
Yeah.
the TV series or a movie, isn't it? Yeah.
So I put it on when I was driving to work the other day, and as soon as I got to work, I listened to the trigger warning at home, and then I didn't have time to listen to it. So it's gotten to the point where I'm taking the dog for 2 walks a day by
Oh, so you
myself,
can
and Tyler's
listen.
like, do you want me to come for a walk? I'm like, no, it's cool.
I
You
want my headphones. Yeah.
stay here. Just gonna go by myself so I can put my headphones in. And then I'm like, what can I clean in the house?
Nice.
What needs cleaning? What needs dusting? So I'm just like doing things just so I can listen to this book. I'm so obsessed with it.
Yeah.
And as soon as I
There is
got to
something
work,
about walking though with the earphones in. Like I have my walking playlist of music, or I'll listen to my favorite murder. But just having that as you're walking and listening to it, there's something really therapeutic about it.
I totally agree. And that's why I'm saying I think that you would love this. And I know that you're always looking for new things. So I just got to the point where I was a bit over my music playlist, and Eurovision
Yeah.
hadn't come out, and I wasn't really feeling any new artists or anything. And I was just like, I need something else to do when I walk the dog, you know?
Yeah.
Um, and so I'm obsessed with this book. And I think because it's that graphic, The love stuff might be a little bit ick, but it's still written very well, I think. So
Okay.
anyway,
Cool.
and the other thing that I wanted to talk about, oh, also I've read 9 books in February.
Well done. So you're well on
Yeah.
track to do your
Yeah, so I did 9
annual.
last month and 9 this month. And
And
if
what was your target?
well, I'm targeting 10 a month, so I'm actually behind.
10 a month. Fuck me.
I wanted to get to 120. I did nearly 60 last year, but I really didn't hit my proper reading stride until mid-year. Um, so I was trying to I was gonna go for 100 and I was like, fuck it, I'm gonna push myself. I could definitely do 100.
120.
I'm gonna push it. So I'm trying for 120. But yeah, so I've it's February's been a short month, so I'm pretty happy
That's
doing
true.
9.
Yes,
And if
that's
I
true.
finish the book that I'm halfway through tomorrow, then I can make it 10 because I've still got 1 day left of the month. But I don't know
Okay,
if I'm going to do it.
cool.
I
Cool.
won't finish the audiobook in time because I've still got 6 hours left of it.
Oh wow. So how
Um,
long is an audiobook in like typically? How long's the Butcher and Blackbird?
this one's 9.5, which
Wow.
sounds really massive, but if you think about, what a
How long?
45-minute walk,
Yeah.
30 minutes on the bus,
Yeah.
there and back, all the things that you do, cleaning the house, like I normally listen to music, but now I just put my because I find if I listen to music and I leave the room and it's on like the Google Home or something
Yeah,
like
yeah,
that,
yeah.
I lose
Cuts
track. So
out.
now I just put my earphones in and just walk around the house listening to it.
Cool.
Um, but yeah, it's very good. So I reckon that your library will 100% have it if my library has it. So get it.
Okay, cool.
And yeah, the other thing that I want to talk about is that we went to QPAC about 2 weeks ago, my sister and I. We went to see Kate Miller Heidke, who we're both fans of.
How was she?
She was excellent, but QPAC really is the place for super squares, I have to say.
Did you get up and start singing and
God, no. We were already getting shushed enough by like everyone that was around us. And we weren't even like out of control. My sister doesn't drink much.
Yeah.
I had a drink at dinner. I think I had a drink before I left the house and we caught the train in and back. So I think I had a beer before I left the house. I had a wine with dinner. No, I had a vodka with dinner. And then we got in and I had a wine before the show and then 2 wines at intermission. And that was it.
So it's no
Um,
river stage.
no, and it was like no one sung. So she was playing some of her bangers, and my sister and I wanted to sing the songs, but it was silent. You could hear a pin drop except for what was happening on the stage. So we
Uh
were just like lip singing to each other. The
this is
words are
yeah,
like
that's
screaming
you should be
faces
able to
out.
sing at concerts.
It was so like it
Did
was
you do
such a different experience. And even my sister was just kept looking at me going, this is balls.
it's weird, yeah. It would have been weird. It would
It
have been
was
a weird
super
vibe.
weird. It was super weird. And because some of her songs are so slow, and she had acoustic to the background, that was it. And it was, the sound was very good, like projecting out, but it wasn't coming from behind you either, where any sound was muffled. Like we were whispering to each other and we kept getting dirty looks from everyone because we were.
Yeah. That happened to Skye and to Brooke and I when we went and saw Wicked at in London. And there was this couple in front of us that just kept turning around telling us to shush. And we were
Hmm.
just literally whispering. I'd be like, can you pass me the lollies? And then you'd open the lollies and be crinkles. And it was a big fucking production on stage. And they'd both turn around giving us dirty looks. I'm like, go fuck yourself for fuck's sake.
It was just a really bizarre experience. And look, we had so much fun anyway because we can have fun anywhere. And we just put shit on everybody and just giggled
Yeah.
to ourselves and had lots of jokes. But it was just,
Weird.
and the tickets weren't cheap either. So it
Yeah.
was like, come on.
Did she do Zero Gravity?
She did Zero Gravity. She did Stuck in the Crowd. But what she did was, and she's been doing it across Australia in all the concerts that she's been, because she was support for Missy Higgins at the wineries. So
Oh,
she's
yeah.
done this call out to young kids because Caught in the Crowd is like, bullying and stuff like
Yes.
that.
I
Um,
remember. Oh,
so
did she do that?
the
I
what one?
remember the day of school.
No, she didn't do that. I was very disappointed about that. I thought she was going to do that. And she did some of her old ones, but they weren't my fave old ones either.
Yeah.
I knew more songs than Sarah did because I'm probably more of a fan than my sister is. And she did a couple of others, but when she did Caught in the Crowd, she got 2 kids up and one played the piano and he was very good. And then she got one to come up and sing and she was very good, but the young girl sung the whole thing.
And you're
So
like,
Kate Miller Heidke didn't sing any of it. She came in a little bit, but because her voice is like she's an opera singer
operatic.
almost,
Yeah.
she's so go so far. If she sung at the same time as the young girl, then you couldn't
It
hear
would
the
have
young
drowned her
girl.
out. Yeah.
So she
But you didn't
stopped.
also go to hear a young girl sing it.
Well, that's what Sarah sister said. She goes, it was sweet and everything, and it's lovely, but
Give
like
her a verse
I
and
didn't
fuck her
pay
off.
to come and
Yeah.
see her sing. So you think when you do that, like you'd let her sing and then you do the
Yeah.
song again, like a
Or let
second
her do a
time.
verse and then you fucking belt out.
Yeah. So it was just a very
What about drinking white wine in the
strange.
sun?
She didn't do that. That's not her song though, because
It's
Sarah, my sister,
yes.
kept saying to me she has to do it right, and I said I don't think she will, darling, because
It's Tim
it's not her
Minchin's,
song.
isn't it?
It's Tim Minchin's song, and it's a
Yeah.
Christmas song too.
Yeah.
So because she doesn't own it, and we were hoping that she would, but she did the last day on Earth, but that was the encore. You know, everyone has
Yeah.
to stand up and act like
Come
it's not an
back.
encore, like she's not coming back, and then she
Yeah.
comes back for two more
More.
songs.
We want more.
That was the only time this crowd had any life to them whatsoever.
Wow.
And then
I
there was
hate
one
that.
person in front of us who just had the phone up, you know, like recording the entire time. And because it was pitch black, it was like
In
in
your
your face.
face.
And the people that were in front of us who kept getting annoyed, it means that like they kept doing.
I hate that.
And they were sat next to the person that was doing these ones, and they're like,
so you're like, haha.
but it was just a very strange experience, and I'm very excited that we're going to go see Jesus Christ Superstar, and I'm
Yes.
very much looking forward to it because I've always wanted to see it. But I swear to
Me
God,
too. And
come
that's
on, theatre
July.
people, get some, you know,
That's July.
get
Glad you
into it.
that. We saw Casey Donovan today. Well, Vinny did. I missed her, walked right past her. And he said, oh, that was Casey. I'm like, what'd you tell me? It would have been like, hey, girl.
Well, our friend Claire contacted me last week and said, did I want free tickets to see, um, what's the one she's in at the moment? The Whoopi Goldberg
Oh,
one.
yes, Sister Act.
Sister Act, because she was going with her mum and then she couldn't go for some reason. She was frantically trying to get rid of these tickets on Friday.
Didn't
And
even
I was
fucking
like,
tell us. Oh, we were in
you guys are in
Sydney.
Sydney. That's what she, because I said, why haven't you asked the boys? And she's like, they're in Sydney. I was like, oh, they're in Sydney.
Mama, that
I
would have been
forgot about
cool.
that. And she just, it was last minute too. And I tried to get my sister and my mum to go, but it was just a bit, I
Too
messaged
low.
Link and I was like, do you want to take me to the theatre? And he was like, Mum, I'd rather fucking watch grass grow.
You can do that there, Tales. Just
Like,
let him play his Pokemon on his computer screen while you watch it. Oh,
anywho, so
anyway.
that's my week. Did
Well,
we
what a
even talk
week.
about what we're doing? We didn't even talk about what our topic is this week, did we?
We did not. Welcome to Stupid Bitches Say What, Chaos podcast about everything and nothing. Oh,
We did that.
We did that. But yes, it's pop culture. It's Skye's week.
It is, and we're
And
doing Unsolved Mysteries, plus.
yes, and we this is a feature of our seasons now, once an app. I would like to suggest, while we keep the Unsolved Mysteries, that we might be able to look at Unsolved Mysteries outside of the show.
I think we have to because I think I'm tapped now.
And some of them were a bit
Yeah, some
There's
of them
plenty
weren't.
of them out there.
Yeah, they weren't enough to really make a segment out of it, were they?
Yeah.
I think you're going to enjoy mine. I forgot what you're going to do though.
Oh, well, I'll keep it as a surprise.
Yeah, do keep it as a surprise because I wonder if I know it or not. I can't recall. I think you actually didn't tell me, to be honest.
No, I think I did. But we did. This was meant to have been.
Ago.
This was meant to have been recorded, I think, on the 30th of January, and it's now the 27th of Feb. That's how our lives have been. Because we skipped one, and then we had to make this one true crime on the 30th. Then we skipped another. Then we skipped another recording, and now it's pop culture, and now it's on the wire. The Thursday we record, it comes out that next Tuesday. So while we were thinking we'll have all these episodes in the backlog and we'll just do the What's the Hap right before they get released, you're hearing us live, basically.
A couple of days before it comes out.
That's probably what'll happen soon, is we'll just be recording them live.
Yeah. Anywho,
all right, you're
okay.
up.
So
I'm excited because I can't remember what you're doing either.
So. I'm wondering if you've actually seen this episode because I've now watched it twice.
You did tell me what it was, and is it the body in the suitcase?
No, I was actually going to do the body in the suitcase, but it's actually pretty. It's a pretty good story, to be honest. It's just really fucking sad and really avoidable. No, I'm doing the body in the basement.
Oh, still a body. I knew there was a
Yeah,
body, and I still
yeah.
stuck clear of that.
So have you seen this one?
No, I didn't watch. I still made sure I didn't watch any of the body ones.
Right.
I
Okay.
think there was two I was looking at, and my one is one of them. And yeah,
Right. I might not because I've watched a lot of them now. But this one I had actually watched when the whole thing with Unsolved Mysteries was a big thing, and the new season had come out, and I'd put it on ages ago, and then I rewatched it in preparation for the podcast when I
right.
was looking for a good one to do, and I did have the body in the suitcase, but then I decided on this one. So it's about a lady by the name of Amanda Antoni. So Amanda Antoni's death remains one of the most perplexing unsolved cases in Calgary, Canada, and is featured on season 4, episode 2 of Unsolved Mysteries, airing on Netflix in 2024. So it's only last year that it came out.
Okay.
Amanda was born in 1984 and raised in Canada. She was described by people who knew her as an animal lover and a playful spirit.
So she's much younger than you then.
Much younger than you, don't you mean? Jesus. Um, she she was mischievous, often pulling harmless pranks on friends and family, and was known for her infectious laughter. Amanda was adopted and was fostered by her family as a baby. She was doted on. When she arrived, her brothers, who were like older, almost teens, immediately were captivated by this happy, smiling little girl with sparkling blue eyes.
Mm.
And you know how they go back in the background and they talk
Yeah.
about the family life. It's they fostered her and then they adopted her, and they just adored her. It's really beautiful. She could do no wrong, and her family loved her fiercely. She grew up in a supportive environment that shaped her into a kind and caring person. In her 20s, she met Lee Antoni, the man who would become her husband.
Antoni or Anthony?
I think they say Antoni,
I
but it could
suppose
be
you have
Antony.
watched it, yeah.
Yeah.
So you would know how they pronounced it. I
Yeah,
apologize.
Antoni. Yeah, Antony. I think it's Antoni.
Yeah.
I could be wrong. Please correct me, people, if you know the correct pronunciation, because there's a word in here that I'm really going to struggle with soon, and you're going to wet yourself.
Can't wait
So
for
just
that.
wait for that. In her 20s, she met Lee, the man who would become her husband. Their relationship blossomed quickly, and in 2009, the couple tied the knot. To those around them, Amanda and Lee seemed deeply devoted to one another. Lee himself later recalled that they were inseparable, spending nearly every moment together. Her family liked Lee, and he became part of the family. But Amanda was close with her brothers and talked to them often about the struggles in her marriage. At one point, Amanda became the primary breadwinner, running her own house cleaning business while Lee faced difficulty maintaining steady employment. Her brothers knew he couldn't hold down a job, and friends and family also knew that they occasionally argued, but no one suspected their relationship was in serious trouble. In October 23,
Oh,
2012,
wow. Oh, 2000. I thought you said October 23. I was like, oh my God, 2 years ago. Sorry.
no, that's when the episode came out. Amanda and her husband had planned a trip to visit and assist Lee's mother in Saskatchewan.
Saskatchewan. Yeah, you're right.
It's
Saskatchewan. Yeah.
When
Yeah.
I can say it right sometimes, but other times I get totally fuck it up.
Saskatchewan. Yeah.
Saskatchewan. I pronounce it so many times in my head when I was putting it together. She needed help, Lee's mother, preparing her household for an estate sale. Amanda suffered from migraines from time to time, and whilst it didn't impair her often, when she got one, it was severe and she would be ill for some time.
Blinding.
Suffering from one of these episodes, she decided at the last minute to remain at home to recover, and Lee continued on to Saskatchewan. Over the next day, the couple remained in contact through texts, messages, and phone calls, with nothing seeming out of the ordinary. On the evening of October 24th, Lee spoke with Amanda over the phone. During the conversation, he suddenly heard their dog Ruby barking loudly in the background. Immediately after, he heard Amanda shout, "Shut up, Ruby," before the call was abruptly disconnected. Concerned, Lee attempted to call Amanda back multiple times, but she did not answer. Though worried, he initially assumed she had fallen asleep or was resting due to her migraine. Lee continued to attempt contact unsuccessfully, but by the early morning of October 26, after still being unable to reach Amanda, he rushed home to check on her. Remember this bit because I'm going to rant about it when it comes to the theories. Upon arriving at their residence, he made a horrifying discovery. Amanda was lying dead at the bottom of their basement stairs. The scene was both shocking and puzzling. Amanda's fan was found broken on the floor in the dining room.
What was broken?
Her phone was found broken on the floor in the dining room. She's in the basement.
Okay.
And a dining room chair was overturned in the main living area. Bloody drag marks led across the small area of the basement. Even more disturbingly, 2 distinct bloody footprints were found at the base of the stairs, pointing towards the stairs as if they were about to go up the stairs. The footprints, which appeared to be bare, so there was no shoes on there. It was like, it was barefoot, faced upwards as though Amanda had been standing there before collapsing. The Calgary police launched an extensive investigation into Amanda's death, treating it as a possible homicide. It was full homicide. They were 100% certain that she had been
drag
murdered.
Marks,
they were like, she's been murdered. And the blood, they show you the crime scene photos. It's full on, like how much blood was there, like, you know, how bad the situation had been.
At first, when you were saying it, I was like, oh, maybe the dog jumped on her and pushed her down the stairs accidentally. But if the phone was broken in the dining room, and I don't know if basements come off dining rooms usually.
Well,
I don't know.
I will talk about the basement positioning when we get to the theories, but the photos, you've really got to see the photos to back it up. So when you do the promos, you'll be able to see what I'm talking about, but I'll describe it in a bit more detail soon.
Yeah.
So they were treating it as a possible homicide. An autopsy determined that Amanda died from blood loss caused by blunt force trauma, suggesting she had suffered serious injuries before succumbing. However, despite the suspicious circumstances surrounding her death, no forced entry was found at the home, and there were no clear signs of a struggle beyond the overturned chair and blood evidence that was in the basement where she was found. Furthermore, authorities found no foreign DNA at the scene, making it difficult to identify a potential attacker or that someone else was there or present.
Okay.
As police,
and it was recent enough where they would have had a lot of forensic.
Absolutely. Yes, they did.
Tools and shit.
As police explored different theories, Lee Antoni was naturally considered a person of interest due to his proximity to the case. However, he had a strong alibi as he was in Saskatchewan at the time of Amanda's death.
Yeah.
Police were even able to track his movements via CCTV, where his car and visuals of himself were observed at service stations along the route to his mother's, proving he could not have been at Calgary at the time of his wife's death.
Yeah.
I think that for me just raises a few flags. Anyway.
Like he's making sure he's being seen.
100%. That's what I think.
Yeah. It's funny because when you were saying it, I was wondering what you were going to say. How his alibi was done, and
it was perfect. It was like he parked in a spot where you could see the license plate.
Yeah.
He was there. His face was visual when he was in every camera line. When he was in there at several locations, they found him, so they could plot his movements, and that there was no way he could have made the distance.
Is it a huge drive that he would have had to have pulled into?
7 hours.
So you don't have to go to that many petrol stations on the way.
That's the other thing. I think like the 7 hours. Anyway, let's get through the facts and then let's talk. Yeah. Let's dissect, shall we?
Yeah.
Keep those thoughts for now, and we'll talk about them in a moment. So proving that he could not have been in Calgary at the time of his wife's death. Investigators also questioned neighbors and searched for potential witnesses, but no one had noticed anything unusual. Without a suspect, the case stalled. To determine if Amanda's death was a tragic accident rather than foul play, investigators consulted a biomechanics expert. The expert suggested that Amanda's injuries could have been consistent with an accidental fall. Bullshit. But this explanation did not fully account for the blood evidence, drag marks, or the positioning of her body. The lack of definitive proof left the case at a standstill. Oh, it makes me so frustrated.
Yeah.
I'm
interested to know the drag marks where they appear.
Yeah. Over the years, authorities have revisited the case in the hopes of uncovering new leads, but Amanda Antoni's death remains officially unsolved. Investigators continue to appeal to the public for any information that could provide answers and bring closure to her loved ones. It's actually ruled accidental.
Right.
In the end, the coroner said it was an accidental death. To this day, questions linger. Did Amanda fall down the stairs or was she attacked? If she was murdered, who was responsible? And how did they enter and leave without leaving behind any clear evidence? Until new evidence or a breakthrough emerges, the case of Amanda Antoni remains a chilling and tragic mystery.
And the footprints were definitely hers.
Yes.
Yeah.
So it's a really sad episode to watch. I think that the husband acts strangely through the police interview footage. So they show the police interview footage of the investigators and Lee, and then they also show the older brothers coming in. So when he comes into the police investigators room when they're questioning him, he's draped in a blanket, like it's like a blanket that's all the way over him, and he's sort of like covering up. It's over his shoulders, sort of sitting like this. And look, I guess it's cold in Canada. Maybe the cell was cold, but it just seems odd.
Yeah.
Like it's a very odd thing to do. And look, we've looked at so many of these cases. We've watched so many shows.
Look more frail that he couldn't do it. He's so pathetic, and yeah.
And if you hear the 911 call, it's very. I think it sounds staged. I think it sounds like it's acting.
And how long afterwards? How long away was he before he found the body?
2
was
days.
He coming back to? No, he was going to his mother's and then had to come back. Right.
So I'll go into a bit more detail about the timing in a moment.
Yeah.
So he's draped in the blanket around his shoulders, and doesn't act the way you would expect. There is something off. But my husband, who watched it with me at the time, said, "You're tripping, bitch." He seems genuine. And I was like, I don't know. I disagree. We'll beg to differ on this one, shall we?
Yeah.
I
call shenanigans.
So when her brothers are interviewed, and they are like these big, giant, manly types, she's this tiny little cute, pretty woman, and she's adopted, obviously. They're these huge, they look like Mounties, they're like massive guys, and they just are fucking heartbroken, like just heartbroken. You can see how much they just absolutely adored her, and the fact that she just died without any explanation, it's just killed them. They're just, they'll never recover from it. It's so sad to watch. But when they're being interviewed and they're so heartbroken, and they never say anything mean. They're quite supportive. They say, they were loving. The only thing they ever touch on is the fact that he wasn't a very good earner, and she was always carrying him, but they never said it in a really bad way. Like, that's Canadians for you, isn't it? Like, they're just so lovely. They just,
Canadian, eh?
Yeah. But when you see them in the police interviews, and the police start talking to them and saying, look, she's passed, and, have you got any idea what could have happened? They both immediately question, what has Lee said?
Yeah.
Does he have anything to do with their death? So there's something there that they're
not throwing out the accusations, but they're like, that's what the immediate like, more answers.
Thing they say. The immediate thing, they're like, well, what's Lee saying? Do you think Lee has something to do with it? And straight away, both of them are like, and they're separate interviews. So it's like there's something niggling in the back of their heads that they just don't quite
make them think.
Yeah, they just suspect him, even though they've got absolutely no reason to suspect him.
Yeah.
It's a good one to watch, though. I would have thought that you would have seen it by now, so I strongly suggest that you watch it.
I did avoid them because I knew that you were doing, so I only watched the ones
I thought that you might have watched them previously, though. Do you know what I mean? Like when it first came out and stuff.
No, Vinny doesn't like an unsolved case.
Tyler is the same. He yells at me every time I said, it's for research, baby. We have to watch it for the podcast.
It's for my business.
So fine. But he gets really angry at the end when it's unsolved. He doesn't like it at all. Yeah. He says it's fucked up. So she seemed like she was very loved and enjoyed a vibrant, happy existence. Like she seemed like, even though her husband was a bit of a, Darrow, they'd owned a house together. She loved a dog. She had this great family life, and she was so close with her family. And she just seemed like this really cool, lovely person. And it's just horrible when things like this happen to someone for no unexplainable reason. It's just like, what the fuck?
Yeah.
Okay.
That is sad.
So the things that baffle me the most, and we'll talk about the timeline. That's the second thing I want to delve into. But the first thing I want to talk about is in this household, there was an indoor cat and an indoor dog that lived at the property. So when Lee first arrives home, before he discovers Amanda at the basement, like the foot of the stairs, so she's down the stairs. So he comes in the front door, the dog's in. The first thing he does before he goes to find his wife is he goes to the back door, and this is in his statement, and this is what he remembers doing, and he says it on the interview for the show. Goes to the back door, opens it, lets the dog out, right? So the dog's inside.
And it should always be an inside dog anyway.
And it should. So he's let the dog out to go and do a wee and do its business and stuff like that. That's the first thing he does. He goes up, he lets the dog out, then he goes upstairs looking for her and he can't find her. And then he goes downstairs and finds her, right? So the dog's been inside. They've also got a cat, okay? So the basement where Amanda was found is an L-shaped staircase off the dining room. It's tiny.
Oh, it is off the dining room, okay.
So it's tiny and has a shelf around the top. There's no door at the bottom and there's no door at the top. So it's like there's a dining room table, and off to the side is just this doorway that just goes down into an L-shaped staircase. No door at the top, no door at the bottom. It's just like takes you into the basement, right?
That is the most horrific basement. I could not. Like, basements already give me the fucking jitters. Houses that have them. Like, I'm so glad that's not an Australian thing.
It was like a townhouse. Like, it was almost like part of the house. I think like the laundry was down there and stuff. Yeah.
If I have a basement, I've got a door that locks from my side of it with a deadlock as well.
I think it was like a newer type house too. So it's not like an old fashioned basement. There's definitely
no, but still like a whole thing that's underneath that I've got that's got an open entry into my house. I'd forever be looking over my shoulder.
But it's all very modern. Do you know what I mean? Like, that's what it looks. Anyway, so Amanda's body was found in significant amounts of blood. There's blood everywhere, just all over the floor, pools and pools of it. And if there was no one else, the movement and the footprints indicate. So if there's no one else there and it was just her, right? Yeah. And she did die unassisted at the bottom of these stairs, then it indicates that she moved around a lot before she died, even managing to get to her feet at one point because there's these 2 foot. And you see her slippers as well. So she had slippers on when she obviously went, whatever happened, she had slippers on at one point, but the slippers are off her feet. So the bare feet that are facing up. So at one point during the whole ordeal, she'd managed to get to her feet, right? Despite all the commotion that she would have had to have been making to make all the movements in the blood and the footprints for at least 48 hours, the pets not once went down to check on her. So there's no footprints. There's no pet prints. So
dogs aren't running around in the blood. Yeah.
So now I could understand if they had one of those self-timing cat feeders maybe. So the cat feeder might have just kept getting fed and the cat wasn't that bothered, but even then cats don't go 48 hours without checking on you and coming and being
totally.
Like, pat me,
especially indoor cats.
Exactly.
Indoor cats have a more of a nurturing fucking persona. But they want attention.
You could explain it away. If there was enough food there, you could say, okay, the cat maybe didn't check, right? So the cat's fed. So
and I was going to say, as devil's advocate for him as well, like with the dog might have been, if it'd been inside, looking at the door going, oh, let me out, I've got to go shit. And that's why he's let it out first.
That's right. So even if you could explain the cat, which is very, very unlikely, regardless of the food situation,
the dog would have been down there.
You cannot leave a room when you have a dog without them following you from room to room. They got to even sit in your lap if you'll let them. Do you know what I mean? Like, and it was quite a big dog. So like, and especially...
It would have gone to see what was happening.
If she was in distress, dogs have that sixth sense. Do you know what I mean? There's no way in the world with no doors that she could have been laying there in distress and that dog did not go down once and check on her.
Yeah.
And have
especially if she was stood up as well. Yeah.
So no cat paw prints and no dog paw prints are around her at all.
So what happened with the dog and the cat during that time? Who knows?
Unexplainable. No one can explain it.
Were they
They
locked
say it's
into
an
a room
accident,
or?
but then that indicates that someone else was there. So she's
Yeah.
on the phone to him. The dog's barking, and she yells, "Shut up, Ruby!" And then the call ends.
And why
And then
wasn't
that
he
happens.
concerned that the call ends after that and he's not checking up on her or texting or where are you? Hey, babe.
And the dog theory, it doesn't hold up because it couldn't have been in a room because he walks into the house and immediately takes the dog out the back.
Yeah.
So the dog was active in the house for 2 days. If she fell at the time that she didn't return his calls, and she never returned his calls after that night on the
Yeah.
24th.
Wouldn't you call your friends to say, hey, I'm worried?
Well, so the second point I would like to make. Lee talks to her on the phone of the evening of the 24th. They are chatting and the dog barks. She yells at the dog to shut up and then the call ends. He can't get her back on the phone. Now, look, I can imagine maybe after a really tiring day, he was helping clear out furniture in a settled estate, blah, blah, blah. Maybe going to sleep that night, considering he was 7 hours away and thinking her phone might have gone dead. I know I wouldn't have done that. I 100% know if I'm talking to Tyler and he yells and then I can't get hold of him,
There'd be texts at
I
least.
would. There's texts. There's heaps of texts from him. There's heaps of messages saying, "Babe, call me back. Are you okay? Have you gone back to sleep? Have you got a migraine? How's your migraine? Blah 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 blah. Call me back. You left the call abruptly. Blah blah." There's heaps of messages from him, but not from her. Obviously.
Yeah.
So, he's 7 hours away. But if you can't get hold of them and if you can't leave for whatever urgent situation is keeping there, come on. You call her brothers who are much closer, or you call her mum and you'd be like, hey, I know I'm overreacting.
But
she was on the phone and then the phone hang up and now I can't get her and I've gone to sleep tonight and I've woken up and
I'm still not hearing from her.
I still can't hear from her.
Yeah.
So he messages her all day, but he goes to sleep again the next night.
Wow. Yeah.
And then he still hasn't heard from her. She ends the call abruptly after yelling at the dog. He can't get hold of her. He sleeps another whole night. And then he wakes up in the morning and he's like, oh, shit, it's been 2 nights. I haven't heard from her. I better go home.
And instead of...
I'm worried now.
So he's going to make a 7-hour journey back home if he's worried without calling the brothers.
And the first time the brothers hear of what's happened is when he calls them after the 911 call and says, she's dead. That's how they find out. So not when he's driving the 7 hours back going, shit, fuck, oh God, I haven't heard from her for 2 whole nights. I better check on her. Maybe I'll ask the brothers to go around. I've got a 7-hour drive ahead of me.
Yes. So the reason why he went back was because he was worried about it. He was meant to stay longer. So why the fuck wouldn't he have called the brothers? Yeah. Or a friend.
Yeah.
Have you heard from? Even just that.
Alibi's airtight. They got no other leads.
And even if he'd said, hey, have you heard from so-and-so? Instead of saying, I'm really worried about it. Can you check on her? Hey, have you heard from Rara? I haven't heard anything.
You do that the first night.
Yeah.
You'd just be like, hey, you're only, an hour up the road. I know it's really silly, but and they also lived in a dangerous area too. Like it was known to be quite, it looks nice. Like it looks, you wouldn't, I don't know what their, assumption of dangerous is.
Yeah.
But there had been break-ins and stuff like that. So if it was me, if it was Tyler, Tyler would have been on in the first car. He would have been driving the moment he couldn't get me the first time. You're ringing dad, if you're ringing Sarah, if you're ringing the police, if you're ringing everyone. But still, yeah, you would think that you would ring someone, right?
Like, interesting. So he's either got someone to do a job for him.
So
what did he get out of it?
The blood spatter, and I'll just go through this. Well, look, they don't really talk about anything to do with like life insurance and stuff like that. But again, that's a privacy thing. You have to have access to those records, and it depends on search warrants and things like that. So if you don't have any evidence to suspect him, you can't call an insurance company and be like, hey, how much is he getting? Do you know what I mean? That's privacy. They're not supposed to give that information out unless they're court ordered to do it. So who knows how much her life insurance policy was, because they couldn't investigate that train unless they had a reason to do it. And there was no evidence because he had an airtight alibi. So the blood spatter and drag marks indicate that her body had been moved after her death. There was also swipe marks indicating that
Okay,
someone
so
had.
her body had been moved after her death.
That's what the blood spatter
Yeah.
and the marks indicate.
And where was she dragged from?
It was just all over the place. It was like smushed. It was like,
So it could theoretically, if it was her, she could have been her just sort of rolling around or
especially if she managed to get with her feet pointing
yeah.
directly at the
You think
stairs.
there would be like hand marks of her trying to pull herself up as
There
well?
was no hand marks. There's no hand marks at all. There's no, like, not on the walls or anything like that, or on the stairs or anything like that. So yeah, the blood spatter and drag marks indicate that her body had been moved after her death. There was also swipe marks indicating that someone had tried to clean or hide marks or even footprints. There was also a large drop next to her body, which indicates someone was standing. So it's like you couldn't have made it from her position. Do you know what I mean? It's like someone standing there because
Yeah.
it's the way that it drops on the ground. You can't do that from low.
From
You
laying
have to
down.
be from a height. It couldn't have been made by Amanda in the laid position she was in, and authorities were convinced that it would come back with another person's DNA, but every piece of blood evidence belonged to Amanda Antoni.
Which is fine because I mean, if she's gone down, it's not like she was stabbed or anything, so they haven't cut themselves on the knife once their hand slipped or anything. So her cause of death was blood loss, obviously.
Yes.
And were the injuries were all so she's basically
Blunt force
potentially
trauma. Blunt
from
force
falling.
trauma. Yeah. Yeah. So, uh, and we know from previous cases just how unreliable blood splatter science can be.
It's all been debunked, a lot of that now.
A lot
Yeah.
of it, yeah. So Seems Canada really likes to hook into it though, because we've had that in a lot of the Canadian cases that we've done, where they're really into the blood spatter. Like that was a staircase, wasn't it? That was a Canadian case, and they were all over the bloody blood spatter. And I was like, yeah, this means shit.
Was it Canadian or American?
I can't remember. Also, why was the chair knocked over and the phone smashed in the dining room and she was in the basement? Even if she fell from the top of the stairs, that maybe explains the phone, like she's fallen backwards and the phone's gone out of her hand, but it doesn't explain how the chair over on the other side of the room got tipped over.
Yeah, I'm wondering if the dog was going crazy, but yeah, even still, like how old's they would have had the dog for a while, I'd imagine.
If the dog's it wasn't an old dog, it was like a mid-range dog. They'd had it for definitely a few years. But again, why didn't the dog go down and check on her at no time during
weird.
the 2 full days, the 2 full nights that she was there by herself? It never went down and checked on her.
Yeah. Do you know what type of dog it was?
It was a labby.
I was picturing a Labrador, a golden retriever.
They do not like, and that's so the medical examiner who was there, the head medical examiner, she's like, I have a dog like this. There is no way in the world that I'm laying at the bottom of the stairs for 2 days and that dog is not coming and laying beside me and, licking
You'd
me.
even call the dog down for some
100%.
reason, wouldn't you? Help, mummy.
Yeah, you would. So, if he had come home or sent someone to check on her that night, she would likely still be alive. She didn't die from her injuries. She succumbed to them because she was unable to get the medical attention that she required.
She needed, yeah.
So if he'd gone home that first night, she'd be okay.
Or called.
Just died, like, because she was.
And look, if you heard, and it's not even like, okay, the phone's gone dead. They're fine. They're fine, blah, blah, blah. But if you hear the dog barking, her telling the dog to shut up, and then it goes.
Cuts off.
You'd be concerned that someone was in the house and that's why the dog was barking.
Yeah. That's it.
So your alarm bells would be ringing straight away. Should be ringing straight away.
There's just one tiny other bit about it is that he went to the police. So he accused his sister and called. So we went to the police and said, look, there's one person I think that may have wanted her dead. And it's my sister. And the reason is because he had called child services on her sister because she wasn't taking care of his niece. So the niece got taken away and she used to ring and call them and say she was going to, ruin them and all this sort of stuff. But investigators looked into it and she had an airtight alibi. So I also think that was like a sort of misdirection thing. Do you know what I mean? It was like, look over here.
Why would
check this person out.
Yeah, chuck your sister under the bus as well.
After already chucking her under the bus and getting her kid taken off
Yeah,
her.
yeah. Ah, that is interesting.
I know. Is that like honestly now you have to watch it and tell me what you think. Tell me if you think he's sus as fuck. I think he's sus as fuck.
Yeah, well, I
Tyler
do
was
want to
on
watch
his
it now.
side the whole way, and I was like, this guy's fucked.
Okay, no, I will watch it. I'll make Vinny watch it too, so he can come up with his analysis.
There's no way you wouldn't call someone to check, right? And you wouldn't come home, at
Yeah.
least in the morning. You might go to sleep and go, don't overreact. I'm sure they're fine, but you'd still go that morning. You'd go, I haven't heard from them. Fuck, I'm
Or you
going.
would speak to someone that was closer that you knew.
Yeah.
Yeah, the whole thing about the dog barking and then the phone going dead, that would freak me out.
100%.
I'd be like, what the fuck? What the fuck, babe? Call me. I'm worried. Call me. I'm worried. Call me. I'm worried.
Yeah.
And
She
then if
didn't
I wasn't
deserve that,
hearing
man.
anything, yeah.
She deserves someone taking proper care of her and actually
Bless
looking
her.
out for her. Yeah, it's really fucked.
Mm.
But they'll never find out who did it because then no one's looking anymore. And unless, evidence comes to
They
light
open
or
up a
someone
cold
comes
case.
forward,
Yeah.
but they got no reason to because there's no evidence of anyone else being there. There's nothing. So frustrating.
Yeah, that is annoying. Bless her, poor thing. The family must be just fucking besides themselves too.
And that's what they say. Like the mum's elderly, the dad passed away.
Oh.
The mum's elderly, and she's like, I know something's happened. I know that this is not the whole story. And the brothers are both.
That's just so annoying. While they've just no case closed, we figured it out.
Yeah,
it's
they
like,
didn't
come on,
have any
signs.
evidence to go on. Like, how long do they investigate something that doesn't have evidence for? Though that's the other thing too. Like, you sort of.
But there's a lot of things that you can look into when you see all the things that don't make sense.
Bones. Let's get the bones
That's the Jeffersonian Institute.
Let's get them to just investigate that blood spatter, please. Talk to the dog.
Talk to the dog. Get a new
and
invention.
The cat. Excuse me. Would you like to make a statement about what you saw?
We want the paws. Give us the paw prints, please.
They got nothing to show because they didn't go through the blood.
Poor things.
But when you see the stairs, you'll know exactly. When you see that picture, you'll just be like, okay, I get what you're saying.
Yeah.
Like the stairs just went like this. There's no doors.
Yeah. Fuck that, man. That just creeps me out.
Yeah.
Well, my story is a bit more lighthearted.
Oh, do they find who did it?
Well, it's not a whodunit as such. More of a what is it? Whodunit.
Oh, is it one of the UFO ones?
No, it's Mothman Revisited.
You did tell me you were going, and I love this story so much, and I also love the Richard Gere movie.
There's a Richard Gere movie.
The Mothman Prophecies.
Ah, is it based on?
I haven't seen it for ages. Yeah, I haven't seen it for ages because Tyler doesn't like horror.
Oh, I'll have to watch that. I didn't know it was an actual horror.
Have you not heard of the Mothman Prophecies?
No.
Yeah, I think it was.
I have heard of it. Sorry, no, I'm a lie. I have heard of it. I haven't seen it.
Oh, it'd be like 20 years old at least. Like it was when he was a lot younger man.
So this one was Unsolved Mysteries, Volume 4, Episode 5. I had to Google that after.
I was also Volume 4, but Episode 2.
Did you watch this one?
No, I didn't.
Oh, cool. Excellent.
Because Tyler would. I knew he wouldn't because he like freaks out about moths and bugs and shit.
It ate this one. This is hilarious, this one.
Baby, turn back, don't listen. He doesn't listen anymore anyway.
Does he not? The bastard. He's done a Vinny on it.
Yeah, 100%.
What happened with my screen?
And I'm going to say it because then he can tell me. I'll know if he's
listened.
I go to all the football games, plus.
Yeah, this is a little Easter egg for you, Tyler.
The least you could do is listen to my fucking podcast.
Yes. All right. So this episode was called Mothman Revisited. I like to call it the Unhinged Files. So buckle up, you stupid bitch, because we're diving headfirst into Mothman. Chick, chick, and make sure the strap is
going on
over the shoulder, please.
Between the boobs.
Yes, courtesy of the new series of Unsolved Mysteries on Netflix. It is actually a revisit of an OG episode from way back in 19-something. 19-something. 90, 80, when the first series was airing.
It was active in the 80s and the 90s, plus.
Well, 19-something. They
late
called
70s too, actually, I think.
Oh, they called it Mothman because creativity was clearly at an all-time high that day.
Have
you heard of it? Yes, you have. Well, let me tell you, this episode had everything. Jump scares, wacky witness testimonies, and a healthy dose of what the actual fuck. There actually aren't any jump scares, but there were plenty of wacky testimonials and a little bit of what the actual fuck. So here's a quick summary for the uninitiated. Mothman is basically a spooky urban legend, a chaotic, cryptid king, if you will, with a penchant for spooking small town folk. A humanoid with big old wings, glowing red eyes, and a 12-foot wingspan in
Oh,
some
that's also
instances.
what's her name too, isn't it? What's that other Jeepers Creepers?
Yes, yeah,
Yeah.
totally. Where'd you get those purpose?
Jeepers, Jeepers Creepers. Where'd you
Where'd you
get
get
those
those
eyes?
eyes? And it also had a habit of appearing before disasters, like some sort of cryptid warning sign.
Omen, if you will.
Like when your car starts making a weird noise and you pretend it isn't happening.
It's exactly like
Same
that.
energy.
And a moth
Also,
flies past. What?
also, did you like what I did there with not cryptic, but cryptid? I thought that was cool. The
Excellent.
original sightings, however,
So
happened
smart.
in the 60s in Point Pleasant, West Virginia, where the townspeople were big, mad
West
sugars.
Virginia. Mad
Mad
mama.
mama. Because a little literal flying demon was lurking around their roads and bridges. This winged weirdo,
Bridges. Fuck.
this winged weirdo was spotted multiple times, terrorizing drivers and loitering ominously. So totes vibes, please. 1966, Point Pleasant, West Virginia. A bunch of teenagers,
Mama.
Rich Lady, Shenandoah River, life's old there.
I've
Just a
got
taste of
tears.
moonshine, teardrops in my eyes. Take
Take
me
me home.
home. Country road. So a bunch of
Oh,
teenagers are driving to an abandoned warehouse, 1966, because nothing bad ever happened in that
never.
scenario, right? Also, I'd like to point out that these teenagers are two married couples, going joyriding
Spicy.
to abandoned warehouses. Make of that what you will, please. Anyways, boom. They see a dark figure with glowing red eyes. They scream, they flee, and guess what?
They die.
It chases them
They
at 100 miles per hour.
just wanted to swing, okay?
I think they were swinging. Now, I have to assume that they were also stoned, because what kind of physics is that? A human-sized being flying or running, it doesn't actually stipulate, at highway speeds of 100 miles per hour.
You don't know. You weren't there.
But hey, the town starts buzzing with reports. Mothman flying over cars, lurking in shadows, giving people the ick. Then in December 19,
Ew.
just trying to get in on that vibe too. Is this an orgy or is it just used to? I don't want to impose, but
Look at my wings.
yeah. Ooh,
Look how fast I fly.
they're big. Hey, guys, come back. You dropped your purse.
Just want to be friends.
Cuddle. Let's start again. Can we just start this again? Start from scratch, clean slate, I swear.
Okay, reset. I've got tears running down my eyes.
Take me home. Country road. So then, in December 1967,
Serious face. Gotcha.
tragedy strikes.
Oof.
The Silver Bridge in West Virginia collapses. It's
I
one of
knew
the
it was going to be the bridge.
one of the deadliest bridge collapses ever, killing 46 people.
Ooh.
Though probs not now with the Boston Bridge thing, but at the time it was pretty big.
Okay.
Just putting it into perspective. But guess what people claim to have seen just before it happened? You already know the answer.
Wings.
Mothman. People started whispering that Mothman was some prophet of doom. After that, however, sightings started to fade, and Mothman becomes more of a spooky bedtime story. But let's fast forward a few decades, and Mothman sightings have now gone nationwide with a heavy emphasis on Chicago, where people have been screaming, Mothman is here since 2011. And here we are.
Okay, I'm good. I'm good now.
I get excited by a pain in my side.
Okay.
So the episode continues now from its relook at the older
Oh,
episode with the new encounters.
Yep.
I know. Apparently, Mothman got bored of West Virginia and decided Chicago was the best place to be, please. there's, there's even a website logging all the reports around Lake Michigan of where Mothman has been spotted. Because obviously, if you see a giant flying demon, your first move is to file an online report. Mothman saying boo in Chicago.
Okay.
So I want you to picture it. It's April 2017, 5 a.m. in the morning. A woman in Chicago was
37. Oh no, it was 27. It was no, it was 37.
No, you weren't. Oh, bless. So what age are you? I believe I'm 27. Okay, apple cider vinegar. What age are you?
27 forever.
A woman in Chicago was just trying to take a garbage out, minding her own damn business. And then she looks up and bam, she sees it. An 8-foot tall creature just chilling across the road.
What was he doing?
Legs, normalish. Body, feathers off her. Jury's still out on that. Noise, making some kind of guttural, unholy growl. She reckons
not a flapping sound.
She reckons it knew she saw it. Like this thing was aware of someone across the road looking at it. It's fucking across the road of you. Of course it saw you, you dumb bitch. It's not fucking... It's not across the fucking
also,
ocean.
it's definitely got some extra senses. Like, come on.
It's
got
8
wings.
foot tall. It's just standing there like a suburban fucking Slender Man. But instead of attacking her, it gives her the paranormal equivalent of a, hey, what's up text, trying to lure her over to it. That's just like the telepathic vibe she gets from it. Like she's supposed to be, oh, hi, what brings you to my driveway at dawn, please?
Been there.
But instead of doing the dumb horror movie thing, she sprints back into her house, slams the door, locks it, and then she peeks out the window. And what does she see? Nothing. Gone. Poof. It's disappeared faster than your motivation on a Monday morning. Now, what I want to know is if Mothman actually wanted her, why was it asking her to come to it telepathically just across the street?
Yeah.
Not like down the road, round the corner, up the river, just across the street. It's 8 fucking, yeah, it's not a weird Tinder date. It's 8 feet tall. Just grab her. But no, apparently it prefers the power of persuasion.
It wanted to help her take the bins out.
Yeah. It's like, maybe it just was the neighbor. And
struggling a little bit. Can I help?
Can I give you assistance? So she tells her mates, and shocker, they don't believe her.
They don't believe her. Wow. That is a surprise.
Instead of taking the hint, she hits the internet and finds a whole community of people who have also seen this thing, which of course is when she learns the name Mothman. Because nothing says fearsome monster like being named after something that gets obliterated by porch lights. Also, she didn't see its wings, just the legs, which I thought were a bit sus. So how can it be the same thing when Mothman has clearly got 12-foot wingspan?
And red eyes, right?
Exactly. And wings are kind of Mothman's whole brand, I would have thought. So...
Mothman's out there going, fucking bitch, that wasn't me.
That was Slender Man. You fucking weirdo. So this garbage lady posts online, as one does, and turns out she's not alone. There are so many
Mm.
other sightings. And that's when the paranormal investigators, TM, show up. Next up, we meet a paranormal investigator who got into ghost hunting because as a kid, he used to see shadowy figures in the dark.
I would love to be a ghost hunter. Like that would be like, except if there was real ghosts and then they murdered me and shit.
Yeah, you just want to sort of make it up and, oh, did you hear that?
Yeah.
What was that? That wasn't my ass, I swear to God.
Or you had to go to fucking the poltergeist house and sort shit out there. You're like,
With your
ooh,
Geiger counter.
it's definitely fucking shit happening here.
So, as a kid, he used to see shadowy figures in the dark. Now, I don't want to rain on his supernatural parade,
Of
but if
course.
you listen to that ep we did on paranormal stuff, I can't
Mm.
remember when I did sleep paralysis.
I know. I think about that all the time.
Mm.
If that really happened or not.
Well, it did to me.
No, but I was thinking about the episode the other day. I was like,
Oh, did
that's
that?
right. Someone holds you down sometimes in your
Yeah, it sits on
sleep.
my chest. I can't remember what episode it did, but I did sleep paralysis demons.
It was
Anyway,
early
there's
on.
literally a scientific explanation for it. Stare into darkness long enough and your brain creates shapes. But anyway, he saw it as a thing. He's now into supernatural investigating. But no, he's convinced it was real. Yeah, got ahead of myself there. So now he's out hunting Chicago's winged weirdo. A second investigator joins in, and his origin story is just as wild.
So is
He
this
got
still 2017 or have we moved on a tiny
this is
smidge?
around that, yeah, baby, around that era. So he got into the field of paranormal investigating ship because he saw Bigfoot back in the 70s and was
Oh,
totes
I was, the whole time I was like, Sasquatch, mate. This is what we're talking about.
and he's totes casual about it too. Now, I have so many questions at this point, but mostly who is funding these people to do this work where they go from coast to coast checking out sightings? Like, are they rich? Is there a Mothman grant that we don't know about that people can have?
There's people who are investing, right?
Yeah. So they've got
They're
this
doing a
money to
GoFundMe
travel
page.
to investigate this shit that people, based on the fact that people said they have saw it. Anyway, they conclude that something weird is happening in Chicago, which is just groundbreaking.
It's a
But
big place too, Chicago. It's not small.
but real
Lots of
talk,
stuff going on there.
um, if being a full-time Mothman hunter is a paying gig, sign me the hell up. People started calling it the Chicago Phantom, but the press,
Oh.
they went straight for Mothman, tying it back to the original sightings in West Virginia. Mountain Mama, Ridge Lady, Shenandoah River.
Take
These
me
sightings,
home.
these sightings keep rolling in. One one guy says he heard screeching from a tree. He looked up and saw Mothman. His credentials? He's an avid bird watcher, and according to him, no bird in North America looks like that. This is what he
Hashtag
says.
eagle.
He knows it wasn't a bird because he knows birds. That's the whole argument, which is fair. Reports start rolling in from O'Hare Airport. Pilots claim to see a humanoid flying around. An air traffic controller sees red eyes. But here's the kicker: there's no footage ever of Mothman. Not one pic. Not even a blurry Bigfoot style mess.
So this is the whole episode, right? This
This
is the
is the
whole
episode.
episode.
Yeah. So it's too quick because as sudden as he's there, he's gone. So there's no footage. Though one guy was doing deliveries as his job on a bike, and he has a GoPro attached to him. And
Oh, here we go. Some
he sees
evidence.
up in the sky
Yeah.
this shadowy figure
Ooh.
flying,
Ooh.
and he thinks he's captured it. So they get the footage, they zoom in, they're able to fucking clear it up. It's just a big ass heron.
Or a
So
dump bird, as we call them, version of our dump birds.
so basically birds exist and people are dramatic. Now, some of these witnesses have a total vibe. The kind of people who would also swear they'd seen Elvis at the local servo. A mum and a daughter are having Maccas in their car when they hear a screech. Then out of the canal near them, something crawls up the embankment on all fours. This time, Mothman's rocking hind legs. Mum gets out for a closer look. The daughter's like, girl, no. but obviously the mother doesn't listen. So the daughter gets out too, and they watch it take off flying. The only problem is that this Mothman looked more like Iron Man. It didn't have any
Oh.
wings, and it just levitated.
Oh.
That So the daughter was so overwhelmed that she had to draw what she saw just to get it out of her head. It was just playing on her
Mm.
head too much. So she drew it onto paper, this sketch, this outline sketch of what she'd seen. Her mum, without any consultation or discussion with her daughter about the same thing, had a friend at work draw what she'd seen just through her explaining it. And they hold it up to the camera. They're two drawings, and wouldn't you know it, the sketches match. They're the exact same. Hilarious, but also Iron Man. It's Iron Man. It looks exactly like Iron Man. It's got metal fucking shit on it. And she talks about, and I saw its pectorals and its shoulders and rah, rah, like it doesn't look like a moth.
Do they
Mothman's a
know
moth.
anything about Mothman though? Like seriously, what's happening here?
Another
And this was
woman,
on the show.
this is on the show. Another woman, she said she saw not one,
Tell them
not,
they're reaching.
not two, but four Mothmen. And
A
one of them,
thruple. A,
a
no,
quadruple.
a quadruple. A gathering of Mothmen.
Well, that's what I want to know. What is a collective of Mothmen called?
Get on the sites and ask. I think that's a question that needs getting onto Reddit. Be like,
But one
what's
of
a
the
collective?
one of the Mothmen in the four made eye contact with her, and she was so terrified that her teeth were chattering.
My baby.
I want to lay eggs with you. She was so terrified, she ran into a house and her teeth were chattering.
Oh dear.
I know. And based on the fact that she'd seen four Mothmen was enough for the paranormal investigators to travel to where she was and have a
Completely
conversation
understand. Yeah.
because no one had ever seen more than one. So it was real. It's legit.
Yeah. Yeah.
So is Mothman real, please? Listen, look, I want to believe. I really do. But I'm leaning towards spooky urban legend. Maybe it's something weird, a parallel universe glitch, an alien, a time traveler in a costume, or just a very misunderstood giant bird. One woman summed it up perfectly, though. It's not just one or two people making this up. A lot of people saw it, or, as I like to think they saw it. Or a lot of people are just making it up, please. Either way, Mothman sounds like that one dude at every party, refuses to leave, and keeps giving people ominous vibes. Either way, stay vigilant, Chicago. If you see Mothman, tell no one, but also tell everyone.
Hashtag sounds like a huge weirdo.
Yes.
Avoid.
Not the kind of friend you want to hang around. Although he sounds friendly when he was chasing.
He does sound friendly.
In 1966 with the purse.
Look, he's not done anything wrong.
This is the thing, except he may have been around the bridge when it collapsed. Did he cause the collapsed bridge? Did he do it?
Just been hanging out.
It was probably just eating a fucking sandwich. Looking for some fucking people to hang with. Yeah. Poor Mothman.
It's definitely misunderstood.
He's probably just attracted.
Help that chick take her bins out and shit. He's like, hello?
She's probably some tall junkie across the road that'd come out as well to take his own bins out. And she's looking at it.
I just want to get to know you.
And then he's seen his neighbor run into the house screaming. He's like, Jesus, have you seen that meme of that tall, skinny ginger guy with long hair? He walks up behind those two women and she turns around and just screams. And he's like, sorry, I just hit her. It's probably that guy. She screamed and ran off. And so he's gone inside and she's like, he's disappeared.
That was definitely a Mothman sighting.
So that's Mothman Revisited. Watch it for a good laugh.
Oh, God. That was funny. Fuck, I was wetting myself at one point. I felt like we were, when you're in school and it's like, stop laughing.
I know,
like,
and then
I
you can't.
I can't. Stop laughing.
It was like a Massachusetts episode.
I know. Oh, my God.
So,
Anywho,
yeah. thanks
Well,
for listening to our Unsolved Mysteries.
I
We'd love to
know.
hear your theories. If you've seen Mothman,
Yeah.
did he have wings?
Has he made his way to Australia? That's what
Did
I want to know.
did he flap? Did he levitate?
Did he
Did
have
he look
really
like Iron Man
defined pecs
physiques? And when you see
and
the
shoot
people,
up?
when you see the people telling the story, like, I get that if someone had seen them that had a reputation, they probably wouldn't come forward on Unsolved Mysteries. But when you see the
Mm,
ones that are telling the stories, you're like, you look like the type. One lady in particular, I swear, I think she's got a mullet, and you can see her in a pub, like sort of telling a yarn and a tall tale, or
and
shit like
every
that.
single person who would listen should be like, "Hey, so
Yeah.
let me tell you about what happened to me this one
But
time."
but it did take her years before she admitted she'd seen it, because she
Oh,
didn't want people paying out on her and her kids.
oh, I get it, totes.
Yeah,
Yeah, I understand.
just the once.
Mm.
So yeah, thanks for listening, guys. Tell us
For
if you've seen a
listening,
Mothman, a
guys.
Mothman, or a Mothwoman.
Yeah, and also we're getting really close to hitting our goal with our Instagram subscribers. So tell your
Yes,
friends, get them to like
yes,
and
that's our season 10
follow.
goal. Get to the 2K.
Yeah, we will. We'll get there.
Yeah, that's our listeners' goal. Get us to the
Yeah,
2K.
yeah, 100%.
So tell your mates, share, subscribe, like.
Mm. Do all the things that social media demands of you in this
Yes,
age.
and also what we demand of you.
Yeah.
But it was great hearing that story. Yours was very interesting, much more an unsolved mystery than a tall
Mm.
tale.
I know. It's very thought provoking, isn't it? And also, it will never get solved like so many that we do. And it's very sad.
Unless someone comes out and says something.
But when I was actually looking at them and I was Googling like what are the most like riveting or the most, watched unsolved mysteries. And number one is Old Mate in the.
Jason fucking Travalgo or whatever it is. What's his name? Something
Oh,
fucking
fuck.
Portsmouth. Oh, pardon me.
Oh
Something
no,
Portsmouth.
Porter fucking Stansbury. That's
Stansbury.
the dude.
Yeah.
And the other guy was not Rivera. Jay
Rivera.
Rivera.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, that was an interesting one. That's fucked up.
Yeah.
The shoes by the hole.
Yeah, totes. And no one will ever know.
Mm. But
Anywho,
anyway,
good night,
join us
guys.
next week for What's the Haps, where
Oh
we
yeah.
deliver our things on things
Where we
that
just
piqued
talk
our
about shit.
interest.
Like
Yes. Current affairs.
like TV shows that we've been watching.
Yeah. And things that happened.
Mm.
All right. Anyway, good night, you stupid bitches.
Good night.
Good.
Drink wine.
Drink wine and be merry and see Mothman. Good night.
Mothman prophecies.
Yeah, that stupid bitch. Mm-hmm. He's a stupid bitch. What a stupid bitch. That's stupid.